Photographers are like furniture made from pressboard. It's not the same as the real heroes of our past. They're a random collection of thoughts that have zero cohesiveness or direction in life. And they don't fit in a room with their families. Their families want to put them out on the curb. It doesn't mean if 5 of them came to me for help, I'd refuse.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
Today we will answer 5 desperate losers and explore Nikon's biggest fears. We're on the Z6 III 40mm Tony 2. We're in 6K 24 RAW for some reason. And I want to cycle through. I don't know what I even see when I see this footage. I just took this out with the 600mm prime versus the Sony with the 200 to 600. Holding them both, it was insane. And in the video, I just made it. It's coming soon for you. Side rant. I don't know what I saw. I was like gushing over the Nikon. I was like, it's so much sharper. But when I'm looking at the footage, I'm like, I think the Sony zoom is actually sharper, way less noise. Oh boy. Oh, what have I done? That was $10,000. So I don't know. Here we are, Nikon. Was that your question? So XS20 beats out XH2S for amateur users? Depends what you're gonna do with it, but there's an argument to be made here. XS20, it's lighter, cheaper. It has the right-handed dial. I cannot believe Nikon put it on the left side. We'll rant again in the wildlife video, but so stupid. Your left hand should never have to come off the lens. So it's like right-handed dial, whereas the XH2S, it's on the left side, just like Nikon. 240 frames per second in the XS20 is only a 29% crop versus the 38% in the XH2S, and it's much worse. The noise pattern is disgusting. We've talked to death about that. So it looks worse. The more expensive one, how are you going to do that to me? And that was it for that. XH2S, on the other hand, you get 4K 120 instead of 4K 60. Your 4K 60 has no crop if you ever wanted to do that. I don't get people. You have 4K 120. Oh, I use this 4K 60, bro. Go slower. You're slow in bed. 4K 60, no crop. More codecs, I think. Like, that's it. You get, like, more options for Apple bullshit, I think. Don't even quote me on it. So, like, if it's me, 1000%. You would think the XH2S would be so much better, but the XS20 is a baby XH2S, and it's as good, if not better in some cases, for less money and cheaper, and better usability with the dial. Can't wait to buy one of those things. If I saw one for a good deal, I would consider it. But you suck, Fuji, and you don't have good deals. And the X-T4 might even be even easier. Just the autofocus is terrible in that. Let's switch to 4K RAW and see what happens there. And then we'll do a bunch of other codecs and see, because the noise, like look at all the noise here. I don't even mind it for a lot of my shots, but it's definitely there. And there's no way in hell I'm reducing the noise. That would take hours. So it's like, it's here. If you're in Nikon, you're noisy. So now we're in 4K 24p RAW, which is weird. Usually the RAW cannot be cropped, but somehow they're doing it. It's still full frame. Line skips, I don't know. Are we seeing more noise? Is something much worse? How big are these files? Should I just keep wasting time? Was that your question? Interesting scenario. How about, what if Blackmagic Design buys Panasonic's camera division? It wouldn't be that interesting. I don't know that they even need each other. They're kind of the same. If you ever do, like, there's plenty side-by-sides, Blackmagic versus Panasonic, and Blackmagic always looks better every single time. The only thing, I'll play your game. Panasonic, okay, you put Panasonic's IBIS in a new, dare we dream this, Micro Four Thirds sensor, 9 megapixels for the best 4K you ever seen in your life. 4K 240 frames per second, Blackmagic RAW 12-bit, if not 14-bit. I'm just throwing that out there. HD 1000 frames per second in a slow burst. Yes, I want this for every single camera, and I will repeat it till someone does it. Leica glass? Who are you at that point? So you have like the Blackmagic look, and the codecs, but the Panasonic usability with the custom modes and the IBIS and phase detect autofocus, of course, they could be a happy marriage, but they're in an alliance together. What does that even mean? Literally nothing. They're not cohesively making a product together. They're just fighting each other. It's like, we'll do this. Oh, how dare you? Okay, we'll do this. And it's like a spite brotherhood, like an older brother who hits his younger brother. Oh, it'll toughen you up. No, it'll give me mental trauma. I've been through it. The best part of that relationship would be Panasonic can lend Blackmagic one of the hinges they use to fully articulate the screen for once. That giant screen. Like, how dumb can a company be to make a 5-inch screen the best thing ever and then it can't tilt? Every Blackmagic user buys an external monitor. So now you have these two giant things for no reason. It's like you could have just had the one thing. Just move it around a bit. Let it flip around, up and down. I have high hopes for the Nikon Red partnership. Hopefully we see something, but if I'm being honest with you, Nikon is not my favorite skin tone look at all. I don't even use it. Like, we're done. You're wildlife now. That's what Nikon does. We're just humoring myself here, seeing like, is there a better codec than this RAW? What are we doing? How big are these file sizes? Let's switch out of something. Okay, now we're in ProRes HQ. It's not RAW. We're in 5.3K. Still in N-Log. Each one is RAW to N-Log. Now we're ProRes in N-Log. And we'll do a little rich tone portrait next. But is the noise gone? Is anything better? Are these files even bigger, maybe? I don't even know. But like what? I have nothing to say. Please help me decide between G9 II and GH7. I think it's very simple. Like, the G9 II is basically a GH7. It's not going to overheat. You might have one guy on a black roof or something, just like 4K 120p overheated in 17 minutes. You believe this? It's like, come on. It's smaller, it's lighter, it's cheaper. You can find it used. The GH7 is kind of new to the market, so it's going to be a while maybe. You might be able to pounce on a used deal, but G9 II basically has everything, unless you want that fake airy log that's in the Panasonic GH7 for some reason. That I haven't watched any comparisons yet, but I imagine there's many people out there doing what happens if you use airy log or just do color space transform and transform vlog into airy log for free in DaVinci, because that's a paid upgrade, like $200 or $300 Canadian, probably $700. So it's like, do you get anything? Is there more dynamic range? Has someone made that comparison? It's so boring, I bet. But I just want to know, like, is it as good? I don't even like airy colors, because I have that color match space thing, and it like turns Sony into Canon colors. I've never liked the look of airy when I select, oh, do airy log instead. It's weird. The reds are kind of pink. Airy, like in the movies, it looks good when you're making masks and you hired a guy to color everything. I shouldn't have to color a damn thing. It should just look okay, look normal. I don't care about color grading and adding things. I lied to you. It's actually my biggest passion in life to get this type of look. And it's easy, just a couple sliders, a couple masks. It took me what, 25,000 hours to do this image? It looks good, it's worth it. It holds up, thanks to ProRes HQ. How big are those files? Big? They're both fine cameras. If I'm being honest with you, it's just the nitpick of they're the only camera company, for some reason, withholding autofocus in their higher frame rates. Every single, like, budget options, we're talking like XE2, I think. XE4 of Fuji does HD 240 with autofocus. Like, what are we doing here? No company does this. You leaped into phase detect, now bring it everywhere. Your 4K 120 loses subject detection, and like there's some things where it's like kicks into contrast detect only for some reason. Like, what are you doing? Put all your marbles in a hat and put it on. Okay, let's stay in ProRes but switch to rich tone portrait instead of log. Okay, there are no guarantees this is gonna look even halfway normal. I don't remember the settings I had on my ZF. I didn't sell it. What are you talking about? It was a treasured gift. I didn't use that money to fuel this Z6 III purchase from Camera Canada. I would never do that. So, like, we're rich tone portrait now. I took the dynamic range setting off. Usually I have that on high. I just want to see what it looks like normally. Maybe that's messing my skin tones up and making them red, because usually HDR does that. It makes your face red. And that's my biggest complaint about Nikon. Is it exposed? Zero idea. Sorry if it's not. ProRes, we went down to 4K as well. For some reason, that was a mistake. I didn't want to be in 5. Side rant, why isn't there a ProRes LQ, the lowest quality one? Not all of us need this like super high-end stuff. We're not filmmakers. We're YouTube living room hobos. The question of the day is the following. If you were going out today to get a main camera and you had no others in your stable currently, which camera would you choose out of those? Can you get today for YouTube? Scrubs, type of work, you do. I don't think so, but please, what? I cannot read. That's too far. If it was me, you know the answer. We all know it. I don't think there's a camera that beats my Sony a7S III. The Nikon is technically better for wildlife in a lot of areas, only because of that prime lens. If Sony had an 800mm prime, I might still lean. I think that 4K 120 is actually sharper than Nikon's 6K. I haven't seen it myself. I don't know what I see sometimes. I'm just like looking at my monitor. I'm like, I don't know which one's sharper. It's hard to tell, man. Leave me alone. The problem is I like to change things up. Like, I've had the a7S III for a long time. It's amazing. Would I buy it again? I feel like I'd probably get a ZVE1 just to see, like, is the color science different and better? It is. Still haven't seen one guy comparing side by sides, just some skin tones. The problem with me is I like to do many different styles of video. Like, talking in a living room is one style, a frowned upon style in some societies. I like to walk and talk on my way somewhere. Those can be fun. You can get lots of cool footage along the way in slow motion. And it's like, okay, cool. Then there's the sitting in nature, just going somewhere, picking a beautiful scene. It's like, okay, and then do some stupid, ridiculous telephoto 3D pop lens, and then you just talk. That's really fun. And then the wildlife. Boom. Telephoto. So it's like one camera for all that. I dreamed, but like it's not really a thing. So I think it's better the way I have it now. Nikon Z6 III should not be doing this. I shouldn't have to do that. Just that's my wildlife setup, and then Sony is doing this. Then we're happy. We'll never be happy, but so like the one camera dream doesn't seem to be like the Pocket 3 destroys pretty much everything. The more I think about it, I love getting that slow-mo street videography stuff, and the Pocket is so discreet. It's the only one you can get like right up to them and they don't even see you. You're looking off. I'm not filming you. Whereas the Sony, like, you have this camera every time people are looking directly in the lens as I'm pointing it at them. I'm like, yeah, I was filming you. I'm sorry. The Pocket is just so discreet. So I don't know, one camera, you can't hold me down to that. I need like 3 at least. So like, I used to want a super travel vlog camera that's better than the Pocket 3, but I don't really travel much anymore. I'm not exploring town, so it's like, what do I even do? What are you talking about? Why do you need that? I don't, I guess. I'm an old man in a living room. I need a bathtub or something. A clawfoot bathtub. I think my card, my 512 gig card is gonna run out soon. Oh my God, what have I done? Oh no. Sony ZVE1 with the Voigtlander 20mm 1.4, dare you dream that, and probably the Zeiss 55mm. You have those two lenses, you can do everything, except wildlife and anything fun. Okay, now we're in the regular H.265 10-bit. We're in 5.3K. I'm wondering if these files are hard to edit now, because the 6K 60 RAW files edit just fine. So it's like fantastic. It's actually better than Panasonic. Panasonic has 6K 60, but it's very hard to edit those files. They're hefty. And same with Fuji. Their 6K open gate, I find I struggle with those, whereas Nikon's all a breeze. So it's like fun times there. And we're still in rich tone portrait, but now I'm going, before answering the last hobo, let's switch into higher dynamic range mode. Did anything change? Something different? I had to lower the ISO. It felt like it got much brighter as I moved that mode up. I don't know where I stand on that mode. You would think it adds more dynamic range. It's almost like log, so it's good. Usually I have it on high. It's on normal. Seems crazy. Can you change it while recording? No. Now we're on super high. ISO lowered. Huh? No? Hi Casey, in your opinion, what comes close to the perfect camera? If you designed it, what would you add or take away? I think right now, like obviously we want something better soon, but like if you were taking current cameras, Sony a7S III with Canon color science and Nikon's mount. Just a little rant here. Sony is going to have to abandon the E-mount soon, I think. Their IBIS does not wiggle in there. It's a tiny mount. You have this little thing. It's like, can't move much. Whereas Nikon and Canon started mirrorless with huge mounts, and they have way better IBIS. It's not even funny. It's not a comparison. Except for wide angle. For some reason, Sony is better at that because it doesn't move much. So it doesn't give you the wobbles and shit. So Sony's going to have to abandon that mount at some point. Are they going to do it? Are they going to move to medium format when they do it? Was this your question? Are you interested in any of this information? E-mount is dead, and that's going to hurt a lot of people because they're going to switch. They're going to move on. Super mount, bigger than Nikon's. Oh my God. Medium format, the size of a Micro Four Thirds, and then the industry will be changed forever again. And Sony seems to do that pretty well. They make their mark, they pee on the tree and they run off. But things that will always plague Sony is the clinical look, the color science being off in some way, and then the mount, the IBIS. Always just something's wrong with the stave, it's not right. So can they improve that? If they joined Nikon's mount, they might be able to. But I don't know, man. I would like to see someone doubling the a7S III specs. I don't see it happening anytime soon. We just keep getting the same thing, matching it at best, and then people reaching for higher resolution. As we've seen, was 6K even good today? We're in it right now. This is almost it. 5.3K, it's like, why would you ever want that for almost anything? I don't know. The file sizes, let's just stop the video. 2 minutes left of a 500 guy. I don't have the space. I can't even edit this. It's going to take me an hour and a half to get the files off. So there's no perfect camera. Who's going to do it? Fuji has no hope. I don't know what they're doing with their technology. It's just, and they're shooting for Leica status. So everything's just going to be like super expensive, but like not worthy of that money. I don't know, man. It feels like Sony's the only one capable. It's just, are they willing to beat the Sony a7S III FX3 type camera in a small mirrorless body, cannibalize their cinema line? Is it going to happen? I doubt it. Canon R5 II? What are you even going to do? Not much. Someone won today. Admit it. I don't even remember what we did. We did a bunch of stuff today, and my computer is going to yell at me soon about it. But Nikon, you could do worse. You could do better as well. So I've helped you. And your task now is to scan that Bitcoin thing and say, hey, here's 1 Bitcoin. It's not worth much. It's 1 coin. How could it be worth anything? It's crashing. You don't know what how you subscribing for him now, Cynic?